Om Tat Sat Divine Self. Welcome to Gyan Bhakti channel from Swami Nikhilananda. My humble prostrations to the all-pervading Brahman, to my worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayanandaji Maharaj, to Lord Hanuman, all sages and saints, and to each of you, divine soul, watching today's satsang. So today we are starting the mystical meaning of the Ramayana. So we will be covering this in three parts before we start the scripture, mysticism of Ramayana, which is a very profound scripture of Sanatana Dharma. It is full of wisdom, devotion, and a great way to enhance our spiritual sadhana or daily practice. So let's get started. We will be covering this in three parts. Commentary is by my worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayanandaji, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. So let's get started on the mystic meaning of the Ramayana. Bhagavan Rama is the Brahman of the Upanishads. Upanishads means they are extracts from the Vedas, and that means that is the full of wisdom. The revelations that the sages and saints had is really the essence of the Upanishads. So Lord Rama is the Brahman, or the all-pervading consciousness. His brothers are the divine attributes. So as we know, he had three brothers, Bharata, Lakshmana and Shatrughana. So they imply existence, knowledge and bliss, or Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sita Mata, Sita, goddess Sita, or Lord Rama's spouse, is the Maya Shakti, the power of illusion, and that power of illusion is inseparable from Brahman. These are the mystical meanings, so we can understand what each of this character in the Ramayana signifies and how we can better our lives with it. In the relative plane, however, the soul in every individual is Rama. So the soul that we have within is Lord Rama, struggling to regain its essential nature, Brahman. So just like Lord Rama had to go in the forest for 14 years and it looked he was helpless and struggling and didn't have shoes and left his royal palace and was in such despair, that is the sadhana period that we go through, our intense tapasya that we have to do to find our essential nature, which is Brahman. Lakshmana is the willpower which enables us to go through this journey, and thus Lakshmana supported Rama all through the 14 years. While Bharata and Shatrughana, they represent the reason and emotion aspect of one's personality. So all four are a holistic process which becomes part of our integral yoga sadhana. Just like a musical instrument needs to be in perfect harmony, such is the process of the message from Ramayana for all these four brothers. And King Dashratha is symbolic of the human personality, which is like a chariot to which 10 horses are yoked. So Dashratha means, das means 10, Rath means the chariot, and the 10 parts, the why with the number 10 is important is because there are 5 organs of actions and 5 organs of perceptions. They are called karma indriya and jnana indriya. So for example, our sight, smell, taste, sound and touch, and then the 5 organs are hands, feet, sound, voice, and then our 2 reproductive organs. So they are yoked to the chariot. Chariot is your human body. So this in essence is the meaning of Dashratha, who was Lord Rama's father. So Dashrath literally means a chariot driven by 10 horses. And his 3 queens that King Dashrath had are called Kaushalya, Sumitra and Kaikeyi. And these are the 3 gunas or modes of nature representing Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Sattva means purity, Rajas means activity, and Tamas is inertia. So Rama assists sage Vishwamitra in the performance of sacrifices or yajnas. So remember, if those of you who have read the Ramayana, and if you have not, we will be covering it in vivid detail. Sage Vishwamitra used to do sacrifices in the forest and penances and tapasya, where the fire, they would offer oblations and do their penance, but the demons would throw blood and meat and those kind of unholy things, and they would come and destroy their yajna. They did not want the righteousness to prevail. So then Sage Vishwamitra went back to King Dashrath, the palace, and commanded and requested that King Dashrath send his two sons, Ram and Lakshmana, to the forest so they could destroy the demons. That's a very interesting episode, because Dashrath looked at Lord Rama as his son, who was very young and weak, and he thought, when I can send my whole army and my generals, why is the sage asking for these two boys only? He didn't know that they were Brahman themselves, and Sage Vishwamitra knew that, so that's why he only wanted them, because he knew that their role was what was required. And in that episode itself, as we know, eventually they get invitation to go to Janakpur in King Janaka's palace, and they marry, Lord Rama marries Sita there. So this is symbolic of performing virtuous karmas, which means when we do selfless service, this is what Lord Rama and Lakshmana were doing, going and helping Sage Vishwamitra in his mission. So breaking Shiva's bow implies undertaking the project of dissolving ahamta. Ahamta means it's I-ness. When we say this is mine, I own this, I possess this, so it is kind of breaking the bow is the first indication to say nothing is mine. So but this is so powerful that it's not easy to give up, as we all know, this sense of mineness. And then it is gradually broken when Lord Rama comes. Although there are mighty looking warriors, none of them can even lift the bow, let alone break it, and Lord Rama just picks it up very gently and breaks it. So this is the subtle insight into the path of Nivritti. Nivritti Marg means going on the path that leads to liberation, mukti, self-realization, God realization. All these things are deeply important for us to understand, and our human body is a perfect we are able only in the human body to get this fruit of liberation through our self-effort. So marrying Sita implies the possession of an intellect that will lead one to enlightenment. Sita means our buddhi, our intellect, and so she guides the process properly to make sure we reach the right destination. So this was the essence of today's satsang. We will continue this mystical meaning tomorrow and day after, and after that we will start this holy scripture mysticism of the Ramayana. And I hope you're finding this joyful, interesting, and enlightening as well. And if you do, please continue to support our channel, share it with others, and also enjoy this daily satsanga as part of your morning sadhana or evening, whatever time you can find. But to connect to spirituality and these holy scriptures is an amazing way to spiritualize our daily life. So this is Swami Nikhilananda. Om Tat Sat.